you're investing into the space. Just to start, your reaction to Anthropic's disclosure last night in aggregate with the OpenAI Hugging Face situation.
Great to see you, Ed. Thanks for having me. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row of disclosures here are certainly ringing alarm bells for quite a few people, but I think it's really illustrating a broader point, which is that we are moving beyond the commoditization of intelligence models, to your point, into what happens when models interact with the real world. These disclosures show both what can happen when there's a misconfiguration in the Anthropic case around a sandbox, and also when you stress test these super hyper intelligent models, the potential risks. At the same time, I think it's incredibly exciting how advanced these models are getting, and where the real opportunity might actually be moving beyond the commoditization of models into the operating system, and most importantly, the trust infrastructure around it.
The president was speaking about drug prices, about the role and positioning of drug prices in healthcare. My hope was you'd come on the show and kind of do the newspapers with me anyway, but you are very focused on that vertical, and I mean literal vertical AI application of healthcare. There's an opportunity there, it seems, to really change industry.
There is, Ed, and you were with us in March when we hosted a whole conference around the opportunity at the intersection of healthcare and AI. Since then, there have been quite a few exciting developments from all of the labs, whether it's Anthropic going on the record saying healthcare is one of their biggest priorities, going deep into life sciences, talking about, in fact, drug development as a potential priority for them, or OpenAI's launch just last week around healthcare. And I don't know if you've played around with it at all. It's been really fun. I've enjoyed using it. As someone who helped launch Google Health over a decade ago, it's really remarkable to see just how far these models have taken the opportunity to really take healthcare information into your own hands. But I think more importantly, moving beyond information gathering into actual action. And I think that's where the next generation of innovation in and around healthcare, and frankly across regulated industries, will be.
When I was with you at the conference in March, in the room there were the founders of specialized startups. There were representatives from all kinds of technology companies, former clinicians, and some regulators, right? And I think the question posed was, if OpenAI and Anthropic are so big and their capabilities so wide, why do they not go after this field more intensely?
Yeah, I think this is an existential question for pretty much every applied AI company. With regard to healthcare specifically, it's a valid one. As I just mentioned, both of those labs have gone on the record not only launching in and around healthcare and life sciences, but talking about how important these priorities are. But I think what's become clear is that they will not happen in isolation. If you saw the launch coming out of ChatGPT on the healthcare side, the product itself is grounded in partnership. It's about literally connecting your health information, whether it's your Function Health labs or your EMR records or Apple Health, to these labs. And so at the end of the day, it's, again, incredibly exciting how good these models are getting, but it's less about extracting information and more about taking that information and applying it to the real world context. And healthcare might very well be the best example of the real physical world interacting with models. Without those partnerships, the healthcare information is just living in isolation. It is going to be dependent on deployment and on partnership. And so that's where I think it's actually never been more exciting for startups and for third-party companies, right? Rather than trying to replicate a model or build a new foundational layer, they are the ones who can take deployment to the next level.
Deena, can we talk a little bit about some of your recent investments? You're a very busy person. I mean that in the kindest way. But you have been doing some interesting rounds of late. Lux Capital has scale, which I always find so interesting. But I also recognize increasingly some of the more legacy Wall Street institutions, private growth equity, mutual funds getting earlier into the game in some of these verticals.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much opportunity. I think everybody wants to have a hand in it for sure. At Lux, we are excited about the opportunity across a number of verticals, healthcare being one of them, but across quite a few others as well. I think physical AI and robotics is a massive opportunity, and we're still really at the early days there. But it's clear that AI is no longer just, it's not even a sector. It's how we used to talk about tech, right? And tech eventually became everything. AI
Yes.
is an operating system, and the opportunity across these legacy institutions is absolutely massive, and we're literally just getting started.
It's so funny you say, like, when I moved to San Francisco in 2018, I kind of felt like I missed the boat a little bit, on the social media wave and on hardware. And now, AI is technology in itself. What do you think happens kind of in the balance of the year in private markets? There are certain spaces, defense tech's one that Lux super focused on, where there's just such momentum. The numbers this year are bigger than last year. Does that apply to health? What is the kind of zoomed out view of the industries you're investing in?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lesson here that every time you think something pops up and proves you wrong. But I think with regard to private markets, as I said, like the opportunity has actually never been better in the application layer, and that wouldn't have been the case if I had come on this show just a couple years ago. I think the focus at that time was more around infrastructure and around the models. But it's become clear just how quickly these models can advance. And it's also become clear again that they can't do it in isolation. So we're excited about everything from real world health companies like Sonata Health, which we just announced a few days ago, to sovereign AI companies that are taking the next layer of deployment, even geographically. We recently announced a new investment in a company called 1001 AI in the
That's great.
GCC. And I think those are great examples, whether it's healthcare or sovereign AI, where that trust layer, especially given the news in recent weeks and these incidents, is going to be more important than ever. And there are more and more interesting companies, in the works right now that we'll be excited to unveil in weeks to come.